The search for Nancy Guthrie stretches through its sixth day. A key figure in the 2012 Benghazi attack is taken into custody, and the American Academy of Pediatrics stands its ground regarding gender procedures for minors. I'm Georgia Howe with Daily Wire Executive Editor John Bickley. It's Friday, February 6th, and this is Evening Wire.
The search for the mother of Savannah Guthrie reaches day 6. Daily Wire reporter Lyndon Blake has the latest.
As day 6 of the search for Nancy Guthrie drags on, new details are coming to light. A neighbor says he spotted a suspicious, unmarked white van parked on the street in the days before the 84-year-old vanished from her Tucson home. He reported it to police, saying the van stood out because it had no markings or clear purpose. Investigators now say they believe Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. During a press conference yesterday, the sheriff confirmed this is being treated as a crime, with reports of blood drops found near the entryway of Nancy's home that we know belonged to her. This comes on the heels of new information regarding surveillance data showing that her doorbell camera was disabled just before 2 a.m. Sunday, plus motion detected shortly after that on a camera, and her pacemaker disconnected from her phone at 2:28 a.m. Authorities stress there is no suspect or person of interest at this time, despite any online speculation. To learn more about this case, you can join me on the latest episode of Finding Nancy Guthrie. It's our latest podcast available on the Daily Wire website and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The U.S. Virtual Embassy Iran has issued an alert for Americans to leave Iran as tensions escalate. Daily Wire Foreign Affairs reporter Cassie Akiva has the latest on the situation.
The embassy issued an alert urging all American citizens to leave Iran by land following the Iranian Islamic regime continuing to restrict communications and crack down on its citizens. Vice President J.D. Vance spoke against the regime acquiring a nuclear weapon.
That is the stated policy goal of the President of the United States. We know the history, and the President he has no interest in repeating the history of Iraq. You don't let crazy people get nuclear weapons.
Talks between the United States and Iran concluded with the expectation that more rounds will take place. While the two countries have negotiated several times over the past year, President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, was also present this time. Kushner is known for successfully negotiating deals that were believed to be impossible, such as the agreements making up the Abraham Accords.
The Department of Justice said Friday morning that a key figure in the 2012 Benghazi attack has been brought to the United States to face justice. Here's Daily Wire reporter Andy Valdez with the details.
Attorney General Pam Bondi said the figure in question, Zubair al-Bakush, was captured overseas and flown to the United States, arriving at Andrews Air Force Base at 3 a.m. Friday morning, where he was greeted by FBI Director Kash Patel and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro. Al-Bakush will face several charges related to murder, terrorism, and arson for his role in the September 11, 2012 terrorist attack that led to the deaths of U.S. Ambassador to Libya Christopher Stevens, State Department Information Officer Sean Smith, and CIA contractors Glenn Doherty and Tyrone Woods. Pam Bondi said this at the press conference announcing al-Bakush's capture.
Hillary Clinton famously once said about Benghazi, "What difference at this point does it make?" Well, it makes a difference to Donald Trump. It makes a difference to those families. And 14 years later, it makes a difference to law enforcement who made the difference in this case. Let this case serve as a reminder. If you commit a crime against the American people anywhere in this world, President Trump's Justice Department will find you.
A Maryland man is facing attempted murder charges after authorities say he tried to kill Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vaught at his Virginia home. Daily Wire political reporter Cameron Arcan reports.
Colin DeMarco, 26, allegedly said that he feared a, quote, fascist takeover of the country under the Trump administration, and that he was writing a manifesto and instructions on topics such as body disposal guide. Charging documents say that DeMarco planned to kill someone with the initials RV, who has served as a presidential appointee. A source familiar with the case confirmed to CBS News that Vaught was the intended target. DeMarco visited Vaught's home last year. He was caught on the director's Ring doorbell camera on August 10th and finally arrested 2 weeks ago. He's been charged with attempted murder, carrying a firearm without a permit, and unlawfully wearing a mask.
U.S. officials said Thursday that the United States and Russia are set to resume high-level military-to-military talks, which had been suspended due to Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine. This follows the expiration of the New START nuclear arms control treaty. The decision comes amid heightened concerns from allies in Europe as well as experts in nuclear non-proliferation who believe the treaty's lapse could launch a new nuclear arms race. While neither country has committed to abiding by New START's limits, the renewed dialogue between senior military commanders is intended to promote transparency and de-escalation and mirrors recently reestablished communication channels between the U.S. and China.
An illegal immigrant trucker who was led into the country under the Biden administration allegedly killed 4 people in a devastating head-on crash in Indiana this week. Daily Wire immigration reporter Jenny Terr has the tragic details.
A 30-year-old migrant from Kyrgyzstan crossed the border using the Biden-era CBP-1 cell phone app. He later obtained a Pennsylvania-issued commercial driver's license, allowing him to drive trucks. He failed to stop for another slowed semi-trailer in Jay County, Indiana this week, swerving into opposing traffic and hitting a van head-on, killing 4 people. According to the Department of Homeland Security, he is an illegal alien. Assistant Homeland Security Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement Thursday that not only was he released into our country by the Biden administration using the CBP-1 app, but he was also given a commercial driver's license by Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro's Pennsylvania. She said, quote, "These decisions have had deadly consequences and led to the death of 4 innocent people in Indiana on Tuesday."
Meanwhile, federal transportation officials say a 3-day enforcement surge across 26 states sidelined nearly 2,000 unqualified drivers. Hundreds were taken off the roads for failing basic English language requirements, while thousands of other violations were uncovered during weigh station inspections. The sweep follows a string of deadly crashes involving illegally licensed drivers, renewing scrutiny on states accused of handing out commercial licenses without proper vetting. Officials say the message is clear. If you can't meet safety standards, you won't be driving on America's roads.
Democrat Senator Alyssa Slotkin from Michigan is refusing to comply with a Justice Department investigation. Daily Wire reporter Zach Jewell has the story.
The DOJ is looking into a video Slotkin helped organize that urged U.S. service members to resist what she described as illegal orders, escalating a standoff with federal prosecutors. Republicans criticized the video as potentially encouraging insubordination, while President Donald Trump publicly accused the lawmakers of sedition. But Slotkin said this week that she will not sit for a voluntary interview with investigators, saying in a statement on X Thursday, quote, "I'm not going to be sitting for this inquiry. I'm not going to legitimize their actions." Meanwhile, her legal team is preparing for what it says could become litigation against the Justice Department.
Drugs dip in price substantially for Americans as the president launches Trump RX. Daily Wire senior editor Joel Needler has the story.
President Trump on Thursday officially launched the federal government's direct-to-consumer medication website called Trump RX. The site will give Americans access to big discounts on popular and high-priced medicines. According to the White House, Trump was able to make deals with major companies like AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly, EMD Serono, Novo Nordisk, and Pfizer to secure lower drug prices for Americans, which are now on par with other developed nations. Some of the biggest price drops include Ozempic and Zepbound, falling from over $1,000 monthly each to just over $300. Cetrotide will fall from $316 to just $22.50. Insulin Lispro will be available for $25 a month, and the list goes on. At Thursday's launch of Trump RX, the president said this.
For years, politicians from both parties have promised to bring down prescription drug prices and make healthcare more affordable, but they all failed. It was all words as usual, but I'm actually getting it done, and it is done, actually.
While other major medical organizations are backing away from their support of damaging transgender procedures for minors, the American Academy of Pediatrics is doubling down. Daily Wire reporter Amanda Prestigiacomo has more.
The AAP, which represents tens of thousands of professionals in pediatric medicine, says that its support of trans procedures for minors remains unchanged. The organization's president said in a statement Wednesday, quote, "The guidance from the American Academy of Pediatrics for healthcare for young people with gender dysphoria does not include a blanket recommendation for surgery for minors." AAP publications still claim that puberty blockers are supposedly, quote, reversible, and cross-sex hormones are partially reversible. They still recommend gender surgeries for minors, including so-called top and bottom surgeries and facial surgeries, on a case-by-case basis. Top surgeries involve the removal of healthy breasts of young girls, and bottom surgeries are performed on genitals or reproductive organs for both sexes.
Parents are sounding the alarm as Disney Plus is about to be flooded with adult content. After taking full ownership of Hulu in 2023, Disney is moving to shut down the platform and fold its entire library into Disney Plus. Launched in 2019, Disney Plus made immediate inroads with parents by offering a family-friendly alternative to the competition. Concerned Women for America looked at the merger details, comparing titles across platforms, and discovered that while Disney Plus currently hosts fewer than 20 R-rated films, once the merger takes place, that number will exceed 400, a more than 2,200% increase. Mature rated television series will also increase from 45 to nearly 400, a more than 800% increase.
And self-described anti-fascist anarchists have advertised their plans to protest at the Nashville Freedom Conference this week, an event that will feature the Daily Wire's Michael Knowles, Reagan Conrad, Cabot Phillips, and Mary Margaret Olahan. The Nashville-based group 615 Anti-Fascist posted a flyer on social media calling for people to, quote, rally against transphobia at the conference on Saturday. And they specifically singled out Knowles. Knowles responded, quote, I've been informed that Antifa intends to protest my speech on Friday. The last time they sent a goon to one of my speaking events, he ended up in federal prison. Looking forward to another opportunity to help correct America's under-incarceration problem. The Freedom Conference, which is hosted by the Young Americans Foundation, is a 2-day event that begins today and is expected to draw hundreds of young conservatives from across the country.
Those are your drive home updates this evening. To learn more about these stories, go to dailywire.com. And in case you missed it earlier today, we covered some major stories, including Trump working to fend off another shutdown in Congress over ICE, officials clarifying the Nancy Guthrie timeline, and controversy brewing over the Super Bowl halftime show, while TPUSA offers an alternative. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with a weekend edition of Morning Wire.